Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your weekend. We also have your boredom busters coming up, but first, our top story. Sioux Falls police are investigating a report of a 47-year-old woman being tied up, blindfolded, and knocked unconscious by someone she didn't know. Authorities say she was walking in a neighborhood east of the Great Plains Zoo when she was kidnapped Wednesday night. First, she was brought to an apartment, and later prosecutors say she was tied to a pole in rural Minnehaha County, west of Colton, near Clear Lake.
She was able to flag somebody down, and then they called the sheriff's office. The deputies got out there, and when they learned all of this took place in Sioux Falls, they notified the police detectives, and they started investigating this.
30-year-old Edgar Segura was arrested Thursday night on charges of kidnapping, attempted rape, and assault. He's being held on a $250,000 cash bond. During his first court appearance on Friday, a second suspect was also mentioned, but at this point she does not face charges. More than a dozen new law enforcement officers are ready to serve their communities after graduating Friday from the basic law enforcement certification course at the Sioux Falls Regional Academy. 15 of the 19 new officers will be working in Sioux Falls, eager to begin a new chapter in their law enforcement careers.
Throughout these 13 weeks, getting to know each other, forming friendships with everybody, it's been great. So that way, you kind of already have that rapport built up with each other where we all know we're hard workers. We all know that we're going to do the right thing.
The recruits go through 520 hours of coursework. If you're interested in law enforcement career, you can visit this story on KELOLAND.com to find out how to apply. From canned goods to toothpaste, the new Bishop Dudley Center for Families in Sioux Falls is stocking up on household items. The center is expected to open within the next couple of weeks. People started dropping off items Friday for it to fill our pantry event.
House stuff like cleaning supplies, bedding. I got a microwave over here.
You can drop off items again today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the center at Western Avenue. To see a list of what's needed, you can head to this story here on KELOLAND.com. You can measure generosity by the gourd at a Sioux Falls pumpkin stand this weekend. 6-year-old Piper Gross, a first grader at Sonia Sotomayor, has been selling pumpkins and glasses of lemonade from her home on the south side of the city. She's donating most of her sales to help one of her classmates who has cancer. The proceeds are also going to help pay for school lunches for other classmates.
The pure joy in her eyes when she gets to help others and just hand out the pumpkins or help people decide which pumpkin is best for them, it's really exciting.
Piper's inventory comes from her grandparents' pumpkin patch in Olivet, South Dakota. Her stand, located at 719 East Inverness near Prairie Green Golf Course, will be open today starting at noon. Let's take our first look at the forecast now with meteorologist Adam Rutt in the Storm Center. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Perry, and good morning, everybody. We were initially off to a quiet start to the day, a couple of isolated sprinkles here and there, but over the last about 30 minutes, a good line of thunderstorms has been able to form along a frontal boundary marching eastward, and we can see some of that lightning from our camera at Lake Madison, even a boat along the water out there, which hopefully they will be all right, because this has been putting out a decent bit of lightning. You want to ideally not be anywhere near any body of water, let alone on it, with a thunderstorm nearby. 61, south wind at 11 miles per hour. We can also see these thunderstorms off in the distance from our camera in Huron. 57 in Beadle County with a north wind at 13 miles per hour. And we can also see from our view downtown. Beautiful sky above, but yeah, there are those storms lurking in the distance. 67, not much of a breeze to speak of at the airport yet, but that is expected to change. Here is a look at live Doppler radar. You can see that line of thunderstorms moving through Howard, Madison, eventually near Del Rapids into Moody County, headed toward Pipestone, south of Brookings. All of this headed off to the east. Frequent lightning, a brief bout of heavy rain, some gusty winds, and even a little pea-sized hail not out of the question with these storms as they race eastward on the backside of that front. We are back down to 67 in Yankton after a heat burst caused them to spike up to near 90 degrees just an hour ago. Also coming at 67, that's Worthington, 72 in Chamberlain, 60 Pierre, 53 though in Aberdeen and Rapid City, 46 in Spearfish, 49 Custer and Buffalo. Those chillier temperatures are on the way just in time to kick off fall, but they don't stick around for very long. We'll talk about that coming up.
All right, thank you very much, Adam. Remedy Brewing Company is ready to turn the page to October, or at least to Oktoberfest. The downtown Sioux Falls Brewery will host its biggest party of the year today. Oktoberfest will include German food and beer, pumpkin bowling, a Stein holding competition, and dachshund races. Dakota Dachshund Rescue is organizing the races and says the festival is one big meet and greet.
Getting to share the dogs with all the people, that's really what it's all about for us, is to try and save as many of these critters as we can. And the best way to do that is to adopt them out. And the best way to adopt them is to show them to the people.
Doors open at the 8th and Railroad Center at 11 a.m. The Dachshund meet and greet starts at noon. The festival is free to attend, though the Beer Fest portion requires a $45 ticket. Beer Fest includes beer tastings from 15 local breweries and runs from noon until 3 p.m. It's SDSU Day at the Washington Pavilion in downtown Sioux Falls. The free day of activities include demonstrations of NASA rovers and other robotics, as well as music and SDSU ice cream. The hours are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Main Avenue in front of the pavilion will be closed to traffic for the outdoor activities. The South Dakota Festival of Books in Brookings connects readers with national and regional authors for presentations, panel discussions, book signings, and other special events this weekend. Activities are taking place throughout the day at the Oscar Larson Performing Arts Center, the Brookings Public Library, and the Children's Museum of South Dakota. The Festival of Books wraps up on Sunday. Adam?
Here's one more view of those thunderstorms. We took off lightning this time around, so you can actually get a feel for what we're seeing with this line that's basically draped along the U.S. Highway 34 corridor right around Madison, again, north of Del Rapids, south of Brookings, moving toward Pipestone. All of this moving off to the east. And you also notice a lot of this formed roughly in the span of about 30 minutes between 6 and 6:30 and are now trying to sustain themselves as they move off to the east. Now, not everybody is going to see something. Again, north of Sioux Falls in general, you're going to stay quiet. Even to the south, we may get in a couple of little more isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two as all of this races eastward over the next hour or two. But if you are up toward Madison, even toward Del Rapids, Pipestone, Flandreau, up that way, you will want to keep this in mind as these storms move through for this morning. Out west, we have windy weather in place. A wind advisory in Tan along I-90 from Spearfish over to the Jackson County line in Pennington County. This includes the likes of Rapid City and Wall, extreme eastern Custer and northern Oglala, Lakota counties. This will be until noon Mountain Time today as gusts may reach and exceed 50 to 55 miles per hour. Even outside of the advisory area, we could still get in on some pretty windy weather through the day as that cold front continues to march eastward and then ultimately get on out of here later on this morning and into the early part of the afternoon. Until we get there, though, a couple of thunderstorms ahead of that, moving north of Marshall toward the Twin Cities. That aforementioned broken line that's pushing through southeastern South Dakota as we speak over the next hour or two. That'll gradually get on out of here. As it does, we have the windy weather on the way and chillier temperatures building in, at least for Sunday and to a lesser extent Monday. Speaking of Monday, we may see a few isolated showers out to the west, but then that's going to be it in terms of appreciable moisture. We have a pretty dry run of weather on our hands outside of what we'll get over the next about 48 or so hours of a spotty variety. Chillier temperatures come around Sunday into Monday, but they don't stick around. Summer's not quite done yet as we continue to have warmer weather that will dominate the long-term outlook, getting back into the 70s and eventually even into the 80s as we get toward the first full weekend of fall. In fact, odds for above average temperatures are favored as we head into the end of September. Now, keep in mind, averages in the low 70s by this point, and this graphic specifically talks about the odds of seeing above average temperatures. The deeper the shade of orange, the more likely you are to see it, whether it's by a little or if it's by a lot. Today, temperatures peak a little bit earlier to the south and east, either side of 80 out that way to southeastern KELOLAND. Elsewhere, 70s and 60s for high temperatures as that cold front pushes eastward. Overnight low temperatures tonight in the 40s, a couple of low 50s to the south and east, but that'll be an exception to the overall noticeably chillier rule. The rest of your 7-day forecast feels like we're, very much in the fall season as we should be with fall officially starting tomorrow. But as I mentioned, it does doesn't last. We're back in the 80s by the end of the week. All the while, we stay mainly dry. Just also keep in mind those isolated showers and thunderstorms this morning, not to mention maybe a sprinkle or two very early Sunday to the southeast. Up in the northeast, well, you will have a mainly dry run of weather as well. Cooler at first, then back in the low 80s as you head toward the end of the next work and school week. In Pierre, either side of 70 this weekend, again, dry. We'll stay dry through much of next week, but we get back into the mid-80s by next Thursday and next Friday. And last but not least, out in Rapid City, mid to upper 60s today and tomorrow. A couple of showers on Monday, but beyond that, we are also dry and progressively warmer as we get back into the mid-80s by the tail end of next week. Have a great day, everybody. For more on your local news, weather, and sports, you can always head on over to KELOLAND.com.